spoken about mental health in the past on this channel, especially for younger men, and some people have a hard time talking about dealing with their feelings, things of that nature. And I'm reminded of a Jim Carrey quote. I don't know where I saw it. It's very possible that it was in some interview or something of that nature. But Jim Carrey had some quote to the effect of, "I hope everyone achieves all of their dreams," or "I hope everyone achieves everything they've ever wished for," something along those lines, so they can understand that it won't make them happy. Now, why am I reminded of that? We as sports fans especially look at a guy like that, and in our mind, he's made it. He's at the top of the mountain. He's in the league. He's playing on a team. And whatever you think of the Cowboys, they're a very popular team. He has more money than he's ever seen in his life. So in our mind, this guy, he's sitting pretty. Like, what issues could that guy have? Just because somebody is successful in their career, or whatever they present to the world, does not mean that in here everything is alright. And it's a tragedy, and it's a reminder that life is precious, and to take care of yourself, to check in on the people you love, and to check in with yourself. So often we have this mentality to just not explore our own feelings, not try to understand what we're actually feeling, and we'll get angry, or we'll get sad, or this, that, or the other, but we aren't really exploring that, and we try to run from our feelings or bury them, and it's an extremely unhealthy behavior. So, that being said, I now have to try and pivot and talk about these games that I watched. So, let's awkwardly pivot now. And here we go. So, these are the matchups on the left. On the right, we have the teams that I thought would win the matchups. And the bolded yellow games are the ones that I got to watch this week. And I just have to say, off the top of my head, there was a lot of bad football being played this week. A lot of bad football. Like, there were so many. When I did my predictions, we looked at the betting lines. There were so many favorites that lost. There were so many low-scoring games. A lot of bad quarterback performances. A lot of just bad defenses. Like, I watched a lot of bad football this week. This Raiders vs. Broncos game was terrible. The Steelers-Chargers game was terrible. This Eagles-Packers game was not good. Like, I don't know what was going on, but this was a really bad week for watching football. going out of order here, but I want to talk about my Seahawks here, first and foremost. I thought the Seahawks would get the win here, and we did. And I have to say, this was like one of the most cathartic games I've ever watched since that Super Bowl loss against the Patriots. I feel like the Seahawks have not had that big, convincing win on both sides of the ball that the fans can just sort of be like, okay, like, we're here, we're good. Maybe against the Broncos that first year Russell Wilson was there. But I feel like it's just the circumstances around the team in this season right now. The vibes are really, really positive right now. The offense looks amazing. The defense looks amazing. Like, it's just, the vibes are good, and I was watching this game. It felt like the game was over within the first 8 minutes. Legitimately, it felt like the game was over after 8 minutes. Usually when I'm sitting there and watching a game, I kind of pace a little bit, or be sitting there refreshing my phone. I just have a lot of nervous, anxious energy. This game, as soon as that first quarter ended, I was sitting pretty. You have the touchdown to Jackson Smith-Njigba, the defensive fumble touchdown, and then the Halani rushing touchdown, all within 8 minutes in that first quarter. And the Seahawks go into the second quarter up 21-0. The Seahawks go into halftime up 38-7. 2 fumbles returned for a touchdown against Jacoby Brissett. Like, we were swarming Brissett. We were just dominant on the offensive side of the ball. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, they could not get a stop to save their life against Sam Darnold and Jason. And it's funny, is like, Sam Darnold only had to throw the ball 12 times in this game. Bridget had that great 4th down stop to save a touchdown. I don't remember if that was the first half or the second half. This game was a few days ago, but the ball was basically in the receiver's hands, and he gets it and he pushes it out before the receiver comes down with it. Like, just beginning to end this game, the Cardinals start to get back into it a little bit in the second half, a little bit more than I was comfortable with, but we'd already won the game at that point. 44-22 in favor of the Seattle Seahawks, and what's funny is we got exactly that same scoreline in another game this week, that 44-22 scoreline. Jacoby Brissett had 22 completions on 44 attempts, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but he fumbled the ball twice, which was returned for the touchdown both times, and that's not included. And Jacoby Brissett was sacked 5 times in this game. Sam Darnold had 10 completions on 12 attempts, 178 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Just a really, really good game to watch. Quickly, actually, I had put in Sam Darnold to have the highest passing yards this week. That did not end up being the case. I think the most passing yards ended up going to, was it Goff? Goff. Yeah. It looks like Jared Goff had the most passing yards this week. Most rushing yards I thought was going to go to the Bears this week. I don't believe they got that. They had 171. So far, of all the games I'm looking at, that is the highest. It's still the highest. Hold on a minute. Did I actually get another one here? No. Oh my god, no. The Colts had 323 rushing yards this week, which is annoying because 2 weeks ago I picked the Colts to have the most rushing yards, and that was the week that Jonathan Taylor only got like 40 yards or something like that. Highest score, that'd be the Rams versus the Niners. 42-26, that's 68 points combined. That actually might be the highest. Hold on. Oh, I might have got that one right. Oh wait, hold on, 20, 50, 65, okay, no, we're still good. Let's go. I got that one right. So, Rams versus Niners did have the highest total score. And I thought Browns Jets would have the lowest. And no, it did not. The lowest score was Broncos Raiders. So, I now have one total extra point to my name out of 8 potential extra credit opportunities. Okay. Raiders Broncos. I know that I watched this game. I'm gonna be honest, I wish I hadn't. I don't remember many moments from this game. This is one of those, this was one of the worst games I've seen. I thought the Broncos would win, they did. But it was a 10-7 victory over Geno Smith and the Raiders, who have 2 wins this season. Like, I don't know what has happened to the Broncos. They're first in the AFC West, admittedly. But this is exactly why, like I was talking about early in the year, I have such a hard time buying into this team being legitimate because so many of their games feel like this, and I don't. Like, they completely, the offense struggled, the special teams struggled. I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm not a very big X's and O guys. Like, I've said that before. I don't really know that much about football. I like watching it. I like talking about it. And I have found success in this channel talking about it. You guys like my NFL videos. And I've built a community with these videos. But for the most part, I don't really know what I'm talking about. And I'll be the first to admit that. But, like, the Broncos have the best record in the league. They've won 7 straight, but I'm looking at this game and I'm looking at this offense. And I'm like, what is this team gonna do in the playoffs? They barely beat this Raiders team. 1 week, Bo Nix and the offense look amazing. The next week, they look like the worst offense in the league. It's like, you're going against the Raiders. They have 2 wins. Like, why are they pushing you to the brink? It's, I don't know. I don't know what to even say. Like, yeah, this was just a terrible game to watch, and I saw somebody in my comments saying they went to this game. I apologize. Like, anybody who went to this game live, yeah. The best thing that I can say about this game, and this is a compliment I've had all season, Amazon Prime Video has come in and immediately made the best NFL broadcast I've seen as far as the technology goes, the way they present the game. I love the Amazon Prime broadcast. Broncos win this game 10-7. Geno Smith has 16 completions and 26 attempts, 143 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Bo Nix 16 for 28, 150 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Falcons, Colts. I thought the Colts would win this game, and they did. I did not watch this one. 31-25 in Berlin. This game goes to overtime, so the Berlin crowd got some good football. But this Colts offense is insane. Daniel Jones threw for 255 yards. Jonathan Taylor ran for 244 yards. And the Colts had 519 total yards of offense in this game. And you compare this Colts team, which is 8-2, to that Broncos team, which is 8-2. And it's like, how do these two teams have the same record? This Colts team, in my opinion, would eat the Broncos alive. But, of course, they couldn't have done this on the week that I picked them to have the most rushing yards. They had to wait and do it 2 weeks later, like I mentioned. Michael Penix, 12 completions on 28 attempts. 177 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Daniel Jones, 19 completions on 26 attempts. 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdowns with 244 yards on 32 carries. Absolutely monstrous performance from him. Ravens Vikings. I thought that the Vikings would win this. This was one of my upset picks. Although actually I think when I looked, the Vikings actually were a favorite, or the Ravens were maybe only like a 1.5 point favorite or something like that. It was actually quite a close game, according to Vegas. But the Ravens do end up winning this game 27-19. Lamar Jackson has 17 completions on 29 attempts, 176 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. J.J. McCarthy, 20 completions on 42 attempts, 248 yards, 1 touchdown. Those 2 interceptions are killer, especially in an 8-point game like this. Those 2 interceptions, you're going to want those back. Patriots Bucks. I thought the Buccaneers would have this. I kind of felt like, I know this Patriots team is good, but looking at what people were saying about this game, it kind of felt like people were disrespecting the Buccaneers a little bit. Like, people forget they're, first in the NFC South. They're leading their division. They're a 6-win team. Baker Mayfield has, had a lot of success, a lot of buzz this season. Don't take anything away from this Patriots team. They're also very good. Drake May's also been very good, but I was kind of just sitting there like, all the conversations kind of been going one direction, and in my experience, sometimes when that happens, the opposite thing ends up happening, but that was not the case here. The Patriots win this game 28-23. Drake May has 16 completions on 31 attempts, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Baker Mayfield has 28 completions on 43 attempts, 273 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Texans, the Jaguars were actually the favorite in this game. This was one of my upset picks when I picked the Texans. And the Texans came through for me just barely. I didn't tag this game as having watched it, but I watched the fourth quarter of this game. Not really for, like, one of my friends texted me basically, and he was like, yo, this Texans team is like going back right now. And I was like, what? And then I turned it on right after that Schultz touchdown happened. And then they scored 26 unanswered points in the fourth to come back and win it after a fumble recovery, run back for a touchdown against Lawrence. Like, if you're the Jaguars, this feels like a season-altering loss. You're still second in the division. The Texans are now below you in the standings technically, but they should have the tiebreaker, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But this feels like a sort of game that can just completely break the mentality of a game. They were up 29-10 going into the fourth quarter. Literally, it's just like, don't make mistakes. Defense has to hold, get a couple 3-and-outs. But they just couldn't do it, and the Texans stayed with it, and they came back and they hammered them. Davis Mills made a couple big plays. He got that 14-yard rushing touchdown, which, God, who knew Davis Mills had that in him. Like I said, I was pretty high on this Jaguars team a few weeks back, but this feels like a season-altering loss. This could completely change the trajectory of their season. 36-29 in favor of the Texans. Lawrence at 13 completions on 23 attempts. 158 yards, a touchdown, a pick. Davis Mills, 27 for 45, 292, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Browns, Jets. I thought the Browns would win this, and this game was close. This is a game I'm glad I didn't watch. It's just 20-27, mind you. 20-27. But the winning quarterback in this game had 6 pass attempts for 54 yards. But they had 42 total passing yards, which means his interception took away 12 yards of offense. The winning quarterback. This is a Browns team, by the way, where defense is part of their identity. That's why I picked the Browns to win. I was like, their defense is gonna get to Justin Fields. It's gonna rattle this Jets team. This is a Jets team that just traded away probably their best player at the trade deadline. Like, they're clearly trying to lose games. And they come out here and win while Justin Fields throws the ball 11 times. And they had a punt return and a kick return in this game. Like, so I look at the score.com for my game recaps, and there's this little thing down the side. I'm actually going to take a screenshot of this and put this in the video. This is crazy. There's this little thing down the side, and it has like the top performers. It's how I see player stats. And there's passing, rushing, receiving. And it shows the best player on each team in each category. The best, QB, the wide receiver, and the running back. On receiving for the Browns, you have Jerry Jeudy, 6 receptions, 12 targets, 78 yards, 13 average yards, 1 touchdown. For the Jets, you have Arian Smith, who did not have a reception, was not targeted, had no yards, averaged no yards, and had no touchdowns. They're saying that the best receiver on this team did not catch a ball in this game. That is how bad this Jets passing offense was. And this Jets team won the game. The special teams won the game. Like, I'm actually, now that I've looked at this closer, I'm a little bit upset that I did not. This Browns team had 23 first downs compared to the Jets' 12 first downs. Cleveland converted 6 of their 16 third down attempts. The Jets converted 3 of their 11 third down attempts. They all... How did they lose this game? They had the ball for 10 minutes more than the Jets. Bro, you have to dissolve the Browns. You have to dissolve the Browns. Like, I literally can't think of what else you do after this game. Like, what even is this, bro? Saints, Panthers. I thought the Panthers would win this, man. Dowdle had us all tricked. Dowdle had us all tricked last week. He started this game off with that touchdown, but he had 53 total this game, 2.9 yards per carry. Just a terrible outing for him. 17-7 in favor of the Saints, who are 2-8, by the way. Very fashionable this week, losing to a 2-win team. Tyler Shaw, 19 completions on 27 attempts, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Bryce Young, 17 for 25, 124, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Giants, Bears. I picked the Bears to win this, and this is the game that got Brian Daboll fired, because this was painful to watch. I'm gonna be honest, I only watched the first half of this game. But Jackson Dart looks electric. He gets the rushing touchdown in the first half. He's just looking good all over the field, but he's getting touched. He's getting swarmed, and I mentioned that. That's why I picked the Bears to win this. They have the better defense. But he goes down and he goes into concussion protocol. And it is the 4th time this season that he has been evaluated for a concussion under this head coach, and he's likely not going to play. Next week, I think Jameis Winston is poised to take over. But yeah, Dart is being evaluated for a concussion. Russell Wilson ended up going into this game. But Jameis Winston will get the start next week. And they just did not do a good enough job. That coach didn't do a good enough job protecting his QB. The O-line didn't do a good enough job protecting his QB. And that seems to be like a theme this season. First with the Vikings, 2 weeks ago at this point with Carson Wentz, and now this. And then even the Commanders with Jaden Daniels against the Seahawks. I don't know why these teams are not protecting their young franchise quarterbacks. Like, there's so many preventable injuries this season. It's just brutal. And it cost the head coach's job. Bears win it 24-20. Jackson Dart 19 for 29, 242 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks, plus played the rushing touchdown. Caleb Williams 20 for 36, 220 yards, 1 passing, 1 rushing touchdown, no interceptions. And the Bears have 6 wins. When was the last time the Bears had 6 wins at this point in the season? I think it's been a while, right? Like, it's been a while. This is a game I wish I would have watched. The Bills versus the Dolphins. This is a bad loss. This this is another one of those season-altering losses like I mentioned with the Jaguars. I didn't watch this game, but I saw some clips from it, like a lowlights compilation. Josh Allen's body language, I have never seen Josh Allen's body language so bad. Now, admittedly, it was a jury-picked compilation. So maybe in the actual run of play and during the game, it wasn't as bad as how it appeared in those clips that I saw. But like, the defense, from what I can tell, is not the problem here. The defense in the past has been the problem. But it seems like now the offense is the issue. And I know that he doesn't have like the best wide receivers to throw to. He doesn't have the best weapons, especially not what he had 2-3 years ago. But man, shout out to this Dolphins team when Tyreek Hill went down. Well, I mean, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. They only have 3 wins, but this is a massive win, to be fair. But they have weathered the storm better than I thought. That's not to say anything too out of pocket, but alarm bells should be going off in Buffalo right now. Okay. The Dolphins win this 30-13. The Bills were 8.5-point favorite, by the way. Josh Allen, 28 completions on 40 attempts, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Tua Tagovailoa, 15 for 21, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Rams and Niners are highest scoring game, as I correctly predicted. And the Rams come out on top, although they're still second. They're still behind the Seahawks in the NFC West. 7-2-0 for the Rams. Matthew Stafford, 24 completions on 36 attempts, 280 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Mac Jones, 33 for 39, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Lions Commanders, this is the second 44-22 score game. Just like the Seahawks game before, Jared Goff had 25 completions on 33 attempts here in the win, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. Marcus Mariota, 16 for 22, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. Steelers Chargers, I really thought the Steelers would get this win with basically the 2 best offensive linemen in Los Angeles out injured, Joe Alt and can't remember the other guy's name off the top of my head, my apologies, but they're both out injured. And Herbert was already having issues even when they were healthy. So I was like, yeah, I think this is the Steelers coming in, but then Aaron Rodgers, this might be the moment. I don't want to oversell it because I've been a noted Aaron Rodgers hater in the past. But this might be the game where he officially looks washed, and I will admit DK Metcalf, who I've said many times, one of my favorite players in the league, he also looks bad. But Aaron Rodgers was sacked for a safety in this game. He had 2 interceptions. He only threw for 161 yards. He only had 16 completions. He had a QB rating of 50.6. And honestly, honestly lackluster performance from Justin Herbert, but yeah, this might be the game. I'm like, okay, Aaron Rodgers might actually be washed, and Mike Tomlin after the game was even kind of being like, Aaron Rodgers did not play well, so 25-10 in favor of the Chargers is your final score. Aaron Rodgers 16 for 31, 161 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Herbert 20 for 33, 220 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Now I watched this dumb game. I thought the Eagles were gonna win. I swear, but all the games I watched this week, the Seahawks was good, but Steelers, Chargers, it was alright, but it wasn't that good of a game. Raiders, Broncos was terrible. Eagles, Packers was terrible. 7-10 is your final score in favor of the Eagles. A missed field goal, which would have tied the game, mercifully misses at the end of the game, so we didn't have to endure another quarter of this garbage. The Eagles and Packers combined for 4 pass attempts of 10 air yards or more in the first half. All of them were incomplete. Eagles at Packers is the first scoreless game at halftime since 2023. It has been 2 years since we've had a game of 0-0 on the scoreboard going into halftime, and the Eagles and the Packers did it. So let's look at how many points the Packers have scored. So last week the Packers scored 13 points. The week before they scored 35. Before that 27. Before that 27. Before that 40. Let's look at the Philadelphia Eagles, shall we? 38, 28, 17, 17, 31, 33. This game ended 10-7. 10-7. They barely threw the ball in the first half. You would expect this game to be like a snow-covered field, right? Like, oh, it must have been a snowy game in Lambeau. No. Not even a snowflake was on the field. Not a single flake. Nothing. It was clear. The score ended 7-10. I am so mad that I watched this game. Jalen Hurts 15 completions on 26 attempts, 183 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Jordan Love 20 for 36, 176 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. I hate this game. I hate that I watched this game. Anyways, there are 14 games this week. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them correct. Scores like that not gonna cut it going forward. Unfortunately, I need to start getting up above, going to the 70% range. But I got 57% correct this week. I started off the season so strong too, so we can have 93.5 out of 9. Let's see what that is. 149. Still at 63%. This is where we're sitting right now. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed